That wet, heavy snow took down a lot of tree limbs and power lines today, and tonight power crews around the state are still scrambling to get the lights back on. Take a look. This is the very latest Eversource outage map. We'll push in here and take a look. As you can see, most of the outages tonight are in the eastern half of the state, all up and down here. That's the worst spot. There are about 30,000 customers still in the dark, and we just got word tonight that many of them will be in the dark through much of the day tomorrow. Some of them will be. We're watching the push to get the power back on tonight. News 8's Bob Wilson has that.
Yeah, this is typically what we're seeing across the state right now. Trees loaded with snow leaning up against power lines that are loaded with snow, and as the temperatures drop, they're becoming very icy and thick. And if the wind picks up at all, that can create a whole nother set of problems for Eversource, who is out here working around the clock to get the power back on.
Dad, I heard a big pop, so we came out and took a look, and the wires were down, and we started calling all around.
Thomas Taylor lives in Montville and sent us this report about the power lines that went down but not out, blocking his road. He was concerned because people kept driving underneath the energized wires. He was afraid the pole might snap and someone could get trapped or, even worse, killed in their car.
Well, my concern is the pole, because it has started leaning since, yesterday it wasn't that far over, and now all of a sudden it's tilting a little bit, and yes, I'm worried about the lines coming down through the night.
For Dennis Clark, who lives just up the road, he was happy to hear the rumbles of the Eversource trucks as they drove up and down his street, repairing the lines and restoring power. And while they were hooking him back into the grid, he was heating his house with a gas fireplace that got so hot it fogged our cameras.
Turned on the fireplace. We had the lanterns going for a little bit, and we saw the power trucks up and down the road and stuff, so we knew it wasn't going to be too much long. We figured we'd wait it out.
Clark says not only did they repair the lines, but they checked and cut back trees in the area to keep the power on throughout the night. In Salem and Waterford, traffic lights were out, causing confusion and hesitation at the intersections. In Chesterfield, miles of roads were closed because of live power lines crisscrossing the streets. Ice and snow building up on the trees and wires, causing them to sag and snap.
Both Montville and surrounding towns have had this situation all day, with constant calls for wires down, trees down, anything you can imagine.
And Eversource working hard to get those numbers down. You saw 54,000 outages, and that was down to 40 and then 30, and it continues to drop. But those don't include calls like this one right here. These wires, that power is on, and they still have to come out and repair the infrastructure, so it's going to be a long weekend for Eversource. We're in Montville. Bob Wilson, News 8.
All right, Bob, thanks. So a lot of people in the dark are wondering right now, when is the power going to come back on? For some, it may be a while. I talked with Eversource just a short time ago. They say most of the outages they have right now will be back on by midnight tomorrow. There will still be some isolated spots that take longer than that, too. So if your power's out and you want the latest information, they say call Eversource. If there are crews working in your area right now, they will then be able to give you a better estimate of when the lights will come back on.